Today's mental health minute it's a little bit different. We usually do fighter-ish stuff from the briefing guides, but forgiveness is something that when I was dealing with the T-38 stuff and going through all that in 2021, had a lot of stress. One of the things I learned was forgiveness. And in this context, I don't mean forgiving other people, although that's a good thing. I mean, the quickest way to age 40 years and to be miserable is to be bitter and to, hold grudges against people and stuff like that. I struggle with it every day. I still struggle with it today. A lot of people I feel like have done wrong by me, and, I struggle with it. But what I'm talking about today, and I think with mental health, is forgiving yourself and allowing yourself to make the mistake and then own the mistake and then forgive yourself for the whole process and then finding what you've learned through that. And throughout my career, I brought up the example before when I was in the B course, right? I was approached by one of the wing commanders to go fly the F-22. And I was actually at my F-16 graduation, and the F-22 program was brand new in the Air Force Reserve, and they didn't have a B course for it yet. So it was like, hey, you need to get, I think it was 200 or 300 hours, and you're going to come fly the F-22 for us. We want you there. And I was identified, and I was excited about that. And through choices that I made, there was a female fighter pilot that I started dating, and that changed my career path because the location and everything, it just didn't work out with the squadron or with us, and that ended that. And for a long time, I was angry at myself for that, and I can name countless other things where I was angry at myself for allowing opportunities to go by the wayside. And the path forward, because when it all builds up, it manifests itself into anxiety, anger, depression, whatever it's going to be. They always have a root cause. And when you go back and look at your career and you're like, man, I screwed up, I shouldn't have done that. Or man, if I'd only done this, I would have ended up in this place. You have to be able to go back and forgive yourself and go, you know what? I made a mistake. I didn't do the right thing. I didn't do the right thing that put me in the right position, but I'm going to accept that now. And I'm going to learn from it now. And I'm going to forgive myself and say it's okay. And the exercise I did, through this process of trying to get, healing. And it's not just this one thing. I'm talking everything, but you write a letter to yourself and you say, here's what you did. Here's what happened. And guess what? I'm okay with it now. I forgive you, yourself. And what that allows you to do is just let go, because that's ultimately what you're trying to do, because every experience makes us who we are. And even if it's not what we think is the best experience, at some point we have to go, okay, it's not what I wanted. It's not what was standard. It's not what other people would have done, but it made me who I am today. And it will give me opportunities in the future because of who I am now, not who I was. And who I am now is shaped by the past. However, future me is a whole new world, and I can be whatever I want to be, knowing that and knowing what kind of person I am today. So I think forgiving yourself is a good step to letting go and not holding bitterness inside, which is very tough to do because we always want vengeance and we always want justice. And sometimes those things just don't happen. But it's good to be able to forgive yourself and others and let go.
Yeah, man. That's all. That's all that I don't have a ton to add. I'm not, I know I sound
Gonky
like,
has never
I know,
been better.
no, I have. I don't want to sound, I'm not, I've mentioned, I'm a Christian, and forgiveness is a very large part of Christianity, right? So, uh, at the church I go to, our pastor, he's really good about, hey, every day you got to wake up basically and forgive yourself, because we're not perfect, right? We make mistakes big and small, whether you're a Christian. Some of these are like, sin kind of stuff, but in just everyday life, people aren't perfect. And if you just focus and dwell on everything that went wrong, your life's going to go wrong because you tend to go where you're focused, right? So for forgiving yourself and even forgiving others, I mean, that's a hard one. That's a hard one for me, because if somebody does something to me that I don't like, I'm like, man, to me, it's like a no brainer. Why would you do something like that? We won't get the details, but like with your scenario, Mover, like, I'm like, I don't understand, why is what's happening to you, right? And when it was happening to me, right? Like you mentioned it earlier, a couple of years ago. Um, and those up until just recently, because I left that unit, but I still had to work with those people that were literally trying to ruin me, right? And it's like I had to forgive them, and I didn't want to, but at the end of the day, you can't let it eat you alive, man. You forgive, you learn from it, and you move on. Um, and that's with yourself and with others. And I mean, that's um, like I said, that is a huge part of, at least with like the things like when I'm reading the Bible and stuff, like those are the things that I key in on, because I think when you do forgive, I mean, it puts you at peace, man. It really does. And it allows you to enjoy the moment and to think about the future and how, what you're going to do in a positive light. And by learning from it, I think it just makes you better. Right. So
It's
that's
the
really all.
debrief. Yeah, it's the debrief.
Yeah.
You have to, you're basically, and
Yeah.
we do that in flying. We just
Yep.
don't do it in life. We go to a debrief and it's not personal.
No.
It's I did this, I should have done this, and therefore I will then do this next time. But when we come to our personal lives, we don't debrief like that. We go, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I hate myself. You get into the self-loathing, you get into that spiral of, oh, if I'd have just done this, life would be so much better. Life wouldn't suck. I've screwed up. It's over. And on that note, again, I will make my normal pitch. If stuff's building up, go talk to somebody. They will help you get through this stuff. Don't make this. It seems like a long term problem, but I guarantee you, there's a way through it.
Oh
And the
yeah.
way through it is by talking, using your wingman, your buddy, your squadron mate, counselors, professional help. I mean, even if you have to go to the emergency room, reach out. I think I just read an article that it's check on a buddy. The whole thing that push is starting out. I mean, check on your buddy. Help them realize that it's okay. Douglas.
I'm going to do my usual routine. You guys nailed it. At least one of you must have had an awesome psychology professor.
I think an interesting class.
I think the learning from it part is something that I would want to go back and emphasize again, though. It's not, you don't want to come off completely. I guess you do want to come off completely guiltless, but not completely without.
Don't forget.
Lessons.
Forgive, but don't forget. I mean,
absolutely. Because and you get on top of it early, because I'm a little older than you guys, and I can tell you you're going to keep making mistakes, and until you get used to it and figure out how to deal with it, it's just going to keep building up, and at some point for some people it gets to be too much, and you don't want that.
Yep.
That is a good topic. Remind me about next week. We'll do about, that's its own topic, about allow yourself to make mistakes.
Yeah,
because
we need a Discord channel for notes for next week. That's how I keep track of stuff now.
Yeah, but I'm serious though. Allowing yourself to make mistakes goes hand in hand with this, because if you're afraid to make mistakes, you won't ever learn, and you'll be so worried. I mean, I did this. I'll tell this when we talk about it. But when I was an intro to fighter fundamentals, I showed up. I was, I'd never busted a ride. I'd never failed a ride, and I was so paranoid that I was gonna pop that cherry, do that first one, that I ended up like doing like 2 or 3 of them. And I thought I was gonna wash out. Like, we went from one extreme to the other because you're in your head, not allowing yourself to make mistakes.
Yeah, and if you're going to be a high achiever, you're going to have to take those risks.
Right, you'll never go anywhere if you don't take those chances.
We'll make it.
All right.